going on, guys? This is the video I promised last night, but it took me a minute to get it all together. If you don't understand this video, I don't know what to tell you. 4 plagues raging across China, and this is the reason why. H1N1, swine flu, bird flu, Ebola, coronavirus, all kinds of good shit. You know why? Persecution of Christians, murdering of Christians, blowing up churches, and every other foul-ass thing that Bean Jean Ching, whatever the fuck his name is, has called on people. So now he has to reap it. He gets to reap it. Y'all enjoy the video. I'll catch y'all next time.
Okay.
现在我数一下啊，手带，1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8，有8个。对，这么多，就能数了。这是几天？就昨天是吧？哎呦，这死人这么多啊！
他都没拔
对，
了。
病房帮我进了，他在往这搬尸体呢，往这搬尸体。这里面还有整石，也有整石。没有，这里面也有整石。这你家什么人呢？
父亲。
哎呦，
我的父亲。
哪里的父亲？那个有别的，完全死了，完了。
我家的。
完了，估计不上来了，已经没有
不上来。
没有生命特征了吗？这个又完了，这个完了，这个又完了呀。
Watch your tongue or have it cut from your head. Save your life by keeping whispers unsaid. Children roam the streets now, orphans of war. Bodies hanging in the streets to adore. Oil flames will cover path in chaos, bringing daylight to the night. Death is riding into town with armor. They come to take all your rights.
the Center for the Study of Global Christianity, and it's really an average over the last several years, but they have a rather broad definition of martyr. It's not someone necessarily who pledges to die for their faith. Rather, these are people who lived by Christian values and were caught up in acts of human hostility. About 70% of those 90,000, Jenna, killed in tribal conflicts in Africa. The rest due to government persecution or terrorist acts, much like the one that we saw in Istanbul, targeted killings, this ISIS shooting in the nightclub that in fact really brought down many Muslim victims, but the target was, quote, Christians celebrating their pagan holiday. And then there was the attack on Christians in a park celebrating Easter last year in Lahore, Pakistan. Now, Pope Francis has been very vocal on the issue, and not just. He actually got on a plane just over a year ago and went to the war-torn Central African Republic, where Christians and Muslims are fighting, and he met with both groups.
The Pope sees religion, true religion, has to promote peace. God cannot be used. The Pope often says you cannot use the name of God for violence or to kill people. His going to Africa was a way of saying, let's work together. Religions can work together for peace.
So part of this discussion over these new numbers, Jenna, has been that Christianity is the most persecuted religion in the world. Now, interestingly, back in the days of communism in the last century, the numbers were even higher because there was so much repression in secular countries of, forcibly secular countries of people who actually followed their faith. But now what we're seeing is this phenomenon of Christianity spreading to very fragile parts of the world, like certain parts of Africa where there's war, and also, of course, the shocking spread of ISIS, targeting specifically, among others, Christians. Jenna.
An important story for us, Amy. Thank you.
A.U.R.A. Presbyterian Church, 2 uniformed officers arrived to check on the congregation. They focused on the overspill rooms, which are a reflection of how much this gathering in Chengdu has grown. More and more Chinese people are turning to Christianity despite a government crackdown. New laws have been introduced which give the state greater control over religious meetings, their message and their members. Despite the risks, Pastor Wang Yi continues to use his sermons to condemn the regulations.
We pray, God, please let us be prepared to face persecution when it happens.
In the past year, a number of church leaders have been arrested, and Pastor Wang fears he could be next.
I need to prepare my brothers and sisters for possible persecution. They might be arrested soon. This church might be closed. Someone might lose their job because of their belief. Some who work for the government might be investigated for their participation in the church.
In January, officials in Shaanxi province ordered the Golden Lampstand Church to be demolished. A building permit violation was used as justification for blowing it up. Hundreds of churches have been destroyed or closed, and thousands of others have had their crosses forcefully removed. There is intentionally nothing marking out the entrance to the A.U.R.A. Presbyterian Church. Its congregation meets on the 23rd floor of this high-rise in central Chengdu. Freedom of religion may be guaranteed in China's constitution, but it's one of thousands of house churches forced to hide from sight by a communist party that views Christianity as a threat. But still, every week more Christians are being baptized. We spoke to some of the newest members of the congregation, including Yang Yang, whose family object to the church.
Chinese families are influenced mostly by traditional culture and object to Christian belief, so it's very difficult for me at home.
They described finding a trust in God that they no longer have in the government.
I do believe no matter how much they prosecute Christianity and churches in China, we will grow bigger.
Of course we are afraid, but since we chose the church, we are willing to go ahead no matter how difficult it is.
But as he closed the National People's Congress today, the president declared only socialism can lead to China's national rejuvenation. Having cemented his power, Xi Jinping appears determined to ensure his people pledge an allegiance only to the Communist Party. Debbie Edward, News at 10, Chengdu.
A church congregation barricading themselves in from hundreds of riot police. It's happening in Wenzhou, known as the Jerusalem of China, where for months the government has demolished scores of churches and torn down hundreds of crosses.
What the government here is doing is so barbaric. Today we've seen the fundamental symbol of our faith violated, and it hurts us deep inside our hearts.
Chen Zhai is a respected church leader in Wenzhou. He says the faithful now live in fear. In this amateur video obtained by CNN and in the Salvation Church security camera footage, police brutally beat the faithful and drag them away. Still, Christians here aren't backing down.
For more than 2 months, they've had people here day and night, 24/7, guarding the gates of this church to stop the Communist Party from coming in and tearing down their cross.
I'm going to hold the cross in my arms and protect it, says this man. We didn't steal, we didn't rob, we didn't take drugs. What did we do? Through state media, local authorities say they are targeting all illegal structures. But party documents show that churches are a focus. Church leaders say their crime was to become too numerous, too intimidating for a party long suspicious of the faithful. Recent research shows that there could soon be more Christians than Communist Party members. And in 15 years, more Christians in China than anywhere else. Facts disputed by the party. Chen says that Christians have no interest in politics, but he has a warning.
The law enforcers are breaking the law themselves. If they keep doing things this way, there is a saying, those who play with fire will get burned.
After violent clashes, Salvation Church members pushed back the police, but they came back with reinforcements several weeks later and stripped the church of its cross. Still, the devout say they won't stop believing here because their faith is too strong. David Mackenzie, CNN, Wenzhou, China.